All right, so out at the range with my Remington 700 Sendero heavy fluted barrel 264 Win Mag. Now, I've got 3 different types of factory loadings in 264 right now. One is 140 grain PPU. These are lead nose, 140 grain PPU. Man, look at that case. And what does the box say for speed? Some of these PPUs don't. It doesn't say. It doesn't say the speed on this. And that Sendero's a 26-inch barrel. Now, these HSMs, what are these? This is an old box. HSM loaded with burgers. And how heavy are these? 140 grain burger HPBTs. What's that? Hollow point boat tail. These are 140 grain as well. Woo! That'd be a good long range one right there. 140 grain burgers. Now, does this have a speed from HSM? HSM also did not print a speed on there. Interesting. And we also got some, look at that, that's like a vintage Winchester Super X Box 2. Also a 140 grain projectile. So every 264 Win Mag that I've been able to get my hands on so far, it's 140 grain. Now, 140 grain, that's kind of a sweet spot for 6.5. 140, 143, 147. 264 is the same thing as 6.5. Now, what do these look like? They're also a lead nose. Look at that long thing, man. Woo boy, long in the blue light I'm talking about. But did Winchester print a speed on the box whenever this was made? Doesn't look like they did. So apparently back in the day when these boxes were made, this PPUs, it looks like a pretty new production box, but these two are definitely not made at least in the last 5 years, possibly a lot older. I don't think Winchester used these for a while. CXP2. You guys that hunted when these were made, that's before my time. Let me know in what years were they making the CXP2s. I'll give that a Google too. What's it say on the box there? It's just kind of some cool information to see here. Stuff you don't see every day. Y'all freeze that and read it if you want to. That's kind of cool. Old marketing from Winchester. It says the CXP2 is for light, thin-skinned game, and it shows a whitetail. Rapid controlled expansion penetrates thin skin, light muscle, and bone. Ideal for antelope, mule deer, whitetail, and black bear. Interesting. Got sweat bees biting me, but all are 140 grain. Let's run them all through the chronograph, get some speeds, and then we'll compare them to the few other 6.5s. My assumption is we should have never got rid of this 264 Win Mag. It should still be popular. But anyways, we'll talk about that a little bit different. We got to get these chronograph speeds out here at the range, so I'm going to load them up one at a time. Be right back. All right, now this is my new chronograph up here. It's the Caldwell G2. Let's see how it does here. It's kind of cloudy today, but see what happens. First contestant is the PPU 140s. And you better believe I'm gonna keep all this brass so we can load it. Here we go. First time ever squeezing the trigger on a live round in this. And let me put this on safe. It's already on safe while I'm talking. If you've been looking for the 264 Win Mag videos and you're saying, where's the sight-in video? Well, I didn't sight this in yet. It's my first time squeezing the trigger on this thing. I just bore sighted it so I wouldn't hopefully hit the chronograph, but sight-in videos soon with this thing. Here we go. Chronograph speed here with the PPU 140s. 2880. That's disappointing. That's like, there's some 6.5 Creedmoor that goes that fast, so that's not impressive. Let's try the the HSMs next. HSMs with those burgers. 2880 is not impressive. Like this, there's 6.5 Creedmoors with that speed. So let's try the HSMs. All right, 3028. Now we're getting there to be a little bit worth it now. That's faster than 6.5 Creedmoor. Still not as fast as I would want it though. Now I'm new to 264, so don't try to quote me or play me for an expert, but I think in my head we can get 264 Win Mag up to 3,200 feet per second, but I could be wrong. That's just my brain thinking around things. 3028, I don't know if that's good for 264 Win Mag yet, but I still think that's kind of weak. 2800 is definitely weak. Now let's try these Winchesters. I kind of feel like these are going to be weak too in a Winchester, but if you're only getting 2,800 feet per second, you might as well have a 6.5 Creedmoor. Now obviously back in the day, they didn't have 6.5 Creedmoor, but I'm trying to bring it back, man. 264 Win Mag, come on. Come on now. See what the Winchesters give us. Let me make sure my other camera's still on that chronograph. Yeah, it is. Come on, Winchester, show me some love here. Oh, so I was right. So those Winchesters were the fastest at 3173. Now, so I was right. We can get 264 up in the 3,200 range. So, and with some hand loads, I'm assuming we could push it even further than that. Now, don't quote me on any of this. I'm not an expert on 264 Win Mag yet. But let's take some of this data here back to the home office and compare this a little bit more to some 6.5 stuff. Now, this PPU, it's a lead nose hunting projectile, but I'm assuming PPU just loaded this for cheap plinking stuff so you can practice at the range with your 264. But man, if you're hunting with it, if I'm hunting, I want maximum speed, I want maximum energy. So if I'm loading it, we're gonna get those 3,200 feet per second. So let's go look at some more data.
All right, guys, so I got those 264 Win Mag chronograph readings out there at the range. Now what I'm going to do here just real quick is compare muzzle velocities versus some other 6.5s. And my opinion, hey, the 264 Win Mag should still be more popular. So if you didn't catch it yet, I'm not going to assume everyone knows. I didn't know until I picked one up and started reading about it literally a couple weeks ago. So 264 is in inches, 0.264 Win Mag. 6.5, 6.5, like a 6.5 Creedmoor is in millimeters. So a 6.5 is the same as a 264. So if you go pick up some projectiles, got my reloading stuff over here. So here's a 140 grain 6.5, just like I'm using in these videos, 140 grainers. It says right here, that's also a 264. So I could load this match projectile in a 6.5 Creedmoor. I could load it in a 264 Win Mag. I could load it in a 6.5 PRC. I could load it in a 6.5 300 Weatherby. The list goes on. If it's a 6.5, that's the same thing as a 264. I just want to make that real clear. Like I said, I didn't know about 264 Win Mag until I bought one. So that being said, I put together a chart using 264 Win Mag velocities, the ones we got here in the video today. And I've also put up a bunch of other 6.5 velocities. We could go down a rabbit hole and talk about this for hours, literally all day. We could talk about this, but I just focused in on 140 grain projectiles, factory loadings, and muzzle velocities. So you could say, well, my whiz bang doodad is loaded in a 129 and it's faster. Well, that's why I wanted to compare apples to apples. All these are 6.5s using 140 grain projectiles. I'm going to pop it up sorted by cartridge, and then I'm going to sort it by rank and color coded on what's the fastest and what's the slowest. So first, let me pop this up. So 264 is at the top. You can see the muzzle velocities. The slowest is that PPU I had, 2880, and the fastest is that Winchester I had at the range, 3173 feet per second. The green, it means the fastest, the red is the slowest, and the yellow is kind of in the middle. So then you can see I put up a bunch of 6.5 Creedmoors. It's all red. It's all the slowest. And then I put up 6.5 PRC. That's kind of middle of the road. A 6.5 Weatherby RPM. And then the 6.5 300, which is down there, the bright green, and that's the fastest. Now let me flip us over the same data, but ranked fastest to slowest. You can see there, what's the fastest 6.5 I put up here? It's the 6.5 300 Weatherby. And that's with a 140 grain interlock projectile. There's much faster than that using different projectiles. What's number 2 fastest? The number 2 fastest 6.5 on the list is that one I had at the range, 264 Win Mag, Winchester CPX2, 140 grain. So pretty interesting. What's number 3? Well, it's also a 264 Win Mag in that Winchester PowerPoint. Number 4 is a 6.5 PRC burger loading, which is a pretty hot load for 6.5 PRC at 3109 feet per second. And then number 5 is Remington PSP, like a Remington core locked 140 grain in a 264 Win Mag. So of the top 5, this isn't complete worldwide conclusive, but this is a bunch of data that I went through and found factory loadings. Out of the top 5 6.5 fastest 6.5 loadings, 3 are a 264 Win Mag. So you guys can freeze this and look at it. I'm not going to ramble on and go down the whole list. You guys can look at it if you want to. 6.5 Creedmoor is the slowest by far. Essentially 264 Win Mag has about 500 feet per second on a 6.5 Creedmoor. So those are the numbers. Thought it'd be an interesting comparison to look at. Why is the 264 Win Mag no longer around? Well, I wasn't there when it was kind of poo-pooed on, but if you go back and read articles and stuff, a lot of the writers said 7mm mag came out and everyone just kind of forgot about that. Well, again, we could go on a rabbit hole all day. Well, if we have 7mm mag, then why do we need 6.5 PRC? And then you can get into, well, it's belted cartridge versus non-belted and felt recoil and yada, yada, yada. But my opinion, hey, people should have been slanging 264 Win Mag all along. Maybe the name is just kind of corny, 264 Win Mag. I don't know. Maybe they could have named it something cooler. But maybe if they named it 6.5 Win Mag, it would have held on longer. I don't know. But hey, appreciate y'all watching and coming along with me. I'm on the journey to improve and increase my knowledge on literally everything that's out there and document it and bring you guys along with me. So put in the comments down below, 264 Win Mag. What do you think about it? I only know one other person that has one. Let me know. Interested to see your comments down below. Make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you've gone over to WHOTEEWHO.com and check out everything we got over there. We got these hats, we got shirts, we got a whole bunch of stuff, a free newsletter. Appreciate y'all watching. We'll see you guys on the next one. Hootie hoo! Load it up.